Hi, my name's Steve Barrett. I'm the Editor-in-Chief of PRWeek. I'm delighted to be here with Jim Spangler, who's Chief Comms Officer at Navistar International. Jim, welcome.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. Great to have you here. Now, you've been in the job at Navistar about 22 months, and I guess it's been a bit of an up and down ride. Do you want to quickly explain why that, what happened in that time and what the big focuses have been for you in very much a B2B environment for communications?
I'd love to. It's been a great ride, and I think it's been a great ride for a communications professional and for our team. I came in with the idea of I was joining a $14 billion corporation that was really focusing on growing in key global markets such as China and India and South America. And shortly after joining, we ran into some business bumps tied to our emission strategy and launching some trucks that met the latest emission standards. And it really caused us as an organization to refocus. And we went through a leadership change in the middle of last summer. That was sort of the climax of a bunch of issues that were coming down on us. And that's been an opportunity for my team to really become involved in getting the organization aligned around a turnaround strategy, one that focused on our North America core businesses, and involving a new interim CEO that evolved into a permanent CEO being named from someone who had already been in our ranks, and helping them sell our stakeholders, whether it's investors or employees or customers, on this viable drive to deliver turnaround strategy.
So what are the biggest challenges in working in that sort of environment, and what are the things that you're most proud of over the last 12 months, coming out of it now and moving forwards, driving forwards, if you like? What are the biggest challenges and the things you're most proud of?
I think what I'm most proud of is that my team during this time has really evolved in taking on more responsibilities and doing more value-added work for our clients and letting some of the less value-added work go to the side. I mean, a crisis is really good for that sort of a situation, to get us focused purely on how do we help the business succeed. How do we help Navistar, earn back its reputation in the marketplace and sell more trucks and engines? So what has been the biggest challenge has been the sense of urgency in accomplishing this turnaround. And, we've really worked hard to keep up with the pace of the business. New leadership, Troy Clark, Lewis Campbell, who was our interim CEO, really put an emphasis on key areas such as quality. We had two very important truck launches that we had to make in a time frame that has never been seen in the truck industry before, because we were pivoting away from a one strategy to a new strategy, and we had to hit these deadlines in order to make sure that we still had trucks that we could sell during this time. So keeping up with that pace was a great challenge, but it was very exhilarating for our team. And we are right there sitting at the table helping senior leaders, including our new CEO, Troy Clark, lay that vision out.
I was going to ask about that. It sounds like you were very much embedded in that senior decision-making structure, and that what the things you were talking about were involved at the start of the process and could be traced through to selling more trucks at the other end.
Well, Lewis Campbell started on Sunday, August 25th or 26th, and that Monday we had him in front of the top 250 leaders of the organization, where he basically came in and articulated what our areas of focus were going to be going forward. Quality, customer satisfaction, working with a sense of urgency, but he also brought some restored a little bit of confidence in the organization, because he was a longtime CEO of a company called Textron, and his message that day was everything that we faced, yes, difficult challenges, but none that he hasn't seen before and hasn't worked through before. And he really gave our leadership team, starting with Troy Clark, who was our chief operating officer, who had been working on this turnaround plan, the confidence to move forward. And we were right there from day one, helping articulate that vision And we've been running ever since, and just reinforcing over and over the progress that we've made in this turnaround plan that they laid out.
So really, the lesson to take out of that is that internal communications is very much the first step towards effective external communications, getting everyone aligned under the same vision and moving forwards in the right direction.
Wholeheartedly agree. I mean, you have to have that buy-in internally first and foremost, and we've made a commitment that anything that involves with Drive to Deliver and the turnaround, whether it's good news or whether it's some difficult news that we have to address, that our employees are going to hear it from us first. They're going to hear it from their leaders first. So, for example, we've adopted a policy that we bring our top 40 leaders together the night before we do our earnings, and we give them a preview of what's to come and what the messaging is, so they're ready to talk to their teams the following day. Shortly after those quarterly events, we bring the top 250 together. Actually, we bring them together monthly, but we always time it around earnings as well. Again, to make sure that we have this alignment on where the narrative is going and where the business is going, because the communications has to drive alignment around the business strategies. And Louis and Troy were big believers in taking the time to talk to employees. Internal communications at Navistar has always been a real core competency, and I would say that we're a top quartile performer in that area. Where the opportunity was, another opportunity that I was brought in for, was more on the external side, where we probably didn't have as much confidence in the past. And so once we got Drive to Deliver launched, we then put together a real systematic approach to get Louis and Troy out there and start telling that side of the story, and starting to kind of reinforce for our customers and for our dealers that this turnaround was very viable, that we had the right strategy in place, we had set mileposts that we were going to be held accountable to, and to date we've been able to hit those milestones. And when we do, we're out there, we tell our employees first, and then we're right out there talking to our stakeholders.
Finally, just tell us about it. What are those milestones, that you can prove to say that this was the contribution that the comms strategy made?
Oh, from the comms strategy standpoint, we have measured our. We work with Golan Harris and their research team out of Chicago, and we put together a robust process for evaluating tonality to the coverage. And if you looked at all of last year, we went all the way back. In 2012, the tonality, it just got more negative and negative on Navistar. You saw sort of an inflection point with our third quarter earnings, which was in early September, and we've tracked it each quarter since then. And we've seen that the news coverage and the analyst reports on us have slowly improved in those areas that were challenges for us: business strategy, the turnaround, and that we had overwhelmingly positive whenever we talked about our new product, because we laid out a very ambitious program on the business side of when we were going to launch that project, and so far we've hit every milestone, and we just started to build that credibility. So we had a big trade show at the end of March with tremendous media coverage, and it was and it's probably the peak so far of that coverage, and this perception and the reputation perception of Navistar slowly improving. We have a ways to go, but we're on the right track.
Well, thanks, Jim, for talking us through that, and I look forward to all that being reflected in sales and the share price.
That's the next challenge. The third quarter and the second half of 2013 now is all about, now that we have our product in place, now we go out and we start increasing share and start increasing sales.
Okay. Well, thanks for your time.
Thank you, Steve.
Cheers, Jim.